Hello and welcome to my classroom. Children, today we are going to learn English from class 6, literature part, lesson number 6, that's our third poem, The Quarrel. Learning objectives of our lesson. As what are we going to gain after learning this poem? To enable the students to recite the poem with rhythm and tone, to enhance the vocabulary and use the new words to frame new sentences, to enable the students to find rhyming words from the poem, to enable the students to relate the poem with their own life. Let us begin the poem. First of all, let us focus over who the poet is. The poet of our poem, The Quarrel, is Eleanor Forjon. She was born on 13th April 1881 and died on 5th June 1965. She belonged to the city of London. She has written children's stories, dramas, novels, biographies, and poems. Her famous book is Jim at the Corner, Cats Sleep Anywhere, Kings and Queens, The Little Book Room, The Old Scholar's Yarn Box. Her famous collection of poems is Hunter. Now, let us begin the poem. Children, keep a pencil with you for underlining the new words. I will be sharing with you some synonyms for the words from the poem. We will go stanza-wise. We will recite first stanza and then understand the synonyms of those words, and then we will start the second stanza. So let us begin the poem. I quarreled with my brother, I don't know what about. One thing led to another, and somehow we fell out. The start of it was slight, the end of it was strong. He said that he was right, I said that he was wrong. This is how our first stanza is. Let us see what the synonyms are. Quarrel, that's a verb which means argument, fight, dispute, clash, disagreement, or tussle. Slight is an adjective which means small, little, tiny, minute, minimal. Strong, powerful, muscular, tough. Right, again an adjective. Just, fair, correct, proper, true. Wrong, one more adjective. Incorrect, false, inaccurate, faulty. So this is how we have seen some synonyms from stanza 1. Now let us recite stanza 2. We hated one another, the afternoon turned black. Then suddenly my brother thumped me on the back and said, "Oh, come along. We can't go on all night. I was in the wrong, so he was in the right." Let us focus over the synonyms for the next stanza. Hate, another word, some synonyms are detest, loathe, abhor, abominate, despise. Afternoon. Children, you might have been thinking as what other words can be for afternoon. So the words are siesta, post-meridian, lunchtime, midday. Thump is a verb which means hit, strike, beat, attack, bang. But thump word has a different meaning in the poem, which is hitting slightly with love. So let us begin the poem once again and discuss as what the poem means. I quarreled with my brother, I don't know what about. One thing led to another, and somehow we fell out. The start of it was slight, the end of it was strong. He said that he was right, I said that he was wrong. So in the beginning, there was a small reason for our fight that we all forgot. Both of us forgot as what the reason was. But we started fighting with each other. And our fight became strong. Our quarrel became strong. And We both were thinking that we are right. I was saying that he was wrong, and he was saying that he was right. We hated one another. The afternoon turned black. We started hating each other after this fight. Our afternoon turned black. In the last stanza, that's first stanza, there was a phrase fell out, which means quarreled. And here we have the afternoon turned black. That means we have spoiled our afternoon. Then suddenly my brother thumped me on the back. And suddenly my brother came and he thumped me. What he did? He pat on my back and said, "Oh, come along. We can't go on all night." I was in the wrong, so he was in the right. And then I realized that he has ended the quarrel and now he is correct and I was wrong. So children, we are getting the message from the poem is that we should stop quarreling, we should focus over loving and keep a healthy bonding with our siblings, with our family members and the people who are nearby to us. Now, when we are learning a poem, we should also focus over the vocabulary as well as the language part of the poem. So let us see synonyms. Once again, we have seen all these synonyms, we have read. Keep in mind, use these synonyms as well as frame sentences for all these words. Language enhancement. We have two phrases in the poem, that is fall out, which means quarreled, turn black, which means spoiled due to tense mood, and some of the lines. Let us understand the meaning of these lines. One thing led to another, which means one activity led to the another one. The start of it was slight. The start of it means the beginning or the cause of the quarrel was minor or petty. The end of it was strong. The quarrel ended on a very bitter note. That means the quarrel became very bitter. The afternoon turned black. The quarrel spoiled our mood and the afternoon became unbearably bad. The last line, that is, thumped me on the back, which means patted on the back in a friendly manner. So, we have seen that how the quarrel between brother and sister or two brothers began, which was a slight fight, but it turned to be dark, it turned to be bitter, and one of them tried to stop it. So, they again reunited and started loving each other. This is how the poem is. We should try to end up the quarrel with our siblings or with anyone. That is the message of the poem. So this is how language part we have learned, and then we have learned some phrases and lines through this poem. I hope you have understood the poem, and I will be sharing with you a worksheet through which I will be testing as whether you also can test yourself as whether you are able to understand the poem or not. Thank you. Always keep smiling and never stop learning. Thank you.